Hey guys, here's a quick video to show you how to use our belt squat. Where do we start? Now, the belt squat is fantastic way of training your quads and your glutes. When you look at traditional training on a leg press, you've kind of got your legs out in front of you and you focus more on kind of knee extension, so kind of pushing your weight out, which is okay, but if you're kind of using your feet as well and you've got ground reaction and you're kind of, you know, clawing with your feet and engaging, pushing with your calves, and you're kind of stimulating your kind of outer glute muscles as well. You're kind of focused on what the rest of your body's doing on the upwards movement, which I think functionally is probably a little bit better for the body. Nothing wrong with leg pressing, but this is a great alternative for that instead. And I'd say it probably trains your muscles a little bit better, kind of more all round as well. So, there's a couple of adjustments on the belt squat. So if you're really tall, for example, you might want to just change this adjustment and start with the machine a little bit higher. What that will do is kind of start from a higher position, so you kind of don't have to bend down so far when you're getting into the machine. It's kind of set up perfectly for me where it is, so that's fine. If you want to add bands to the machine, you've got some band attachments at the bottom, so you can move those into position, strap them around, to create more tension at the top end. So if you're kind of like your sports and you want to develop a bit of power at the top end, then that's a great way of doing it. So let's get cracking. As you can see, it's plate loaded, so you can put the weights on the side. It's probably, I don't know, I guess maybe 20 to 30 kilos on its own without adding any weight to it, so it's actually quite challenging even without any weight. But you're there with two legs, so you know, most people are fine to start with. So what we're going to do is we're going to take the belt, hence why it's called the belt squat. So rather than loading the weight on your shoulders, and putting all that weight through your spine, this is a great way of just kind of loading the lower legs, loading the lower body without kind of having to worry about, you know, can your shoulders get in the position. So it's sometimes great for older people. You're not having to worry about kind of, is my upper body strong enough to train my legs? Because a lot of ladies tend to find that, you know, their upper body isn't as strong as their legs. So this is a great way of training that lower body safely, comfortably, and allowing you to kind of really focus on the squeeze and what the muscles are doing. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to come down, I'm going to clip myself in, I'm going to stand up. That'll unrack the weight for us. I'm getting the belt nice and comfortably on the hips. So again, rather than the weight up here, we've got it around here. I'm going to go for feet just slightly wider than shoulder width. That's kind of where I find it most comfortable on here. Some people are more comfortable with the feet a little bit closer. Some people a little bit wider with the feet turned out a little bit more. So kind of around about sort of 15 degrees kind of feet out is quite nice. That'll allow you to kind of get a real good kind of pump through the glutes, and also a little bit through the adductors. It'll also train the quads, and with your feet out a little bit, that'll also kind of train this muscle here, which is again quite weak on a lot of people kind of posturally because we're walking around on concrete. So if you find it hard to kind of keep yourself up straight when you're squatting down, we've got a nice kind of safety bar in front. If you're okay, then you might just want to kind of put your hands out in front or hands up here. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to go demonstrate both for you. So I'm going to put my hands here, I'm going to squat down into the movement. You can see I'm able to kind of hold on to this. I'm able to keep my chest up, which is quite important. Now, you can let your knees travel forward over the toe. There's nothing wrong with that whatsoever. Just don't let it kind of pull you really far forward, because this machine, you can see it will kind of pull you forward ever so slightly. A lot of people, a common mistake on this, they kind of tend to sit back on the heels too much, and then you're not loading your calves. And your kind of calves and your toes, specifically, especially your big toe, kind of help stimulate your butt muscles. So you kind of want to keep your weight sort of fairly central. So I'm just going to come down here. I can feel nice even weight through 3 points of the foot, outside of the foot, inside of the foot, where the big toe, and through the heel. You'll be surprised at kind of what focusing on those 3 points of the feet will actually do to kind of stimulating all the muscles in the hips and the feet. So again, I'm coming down, squeezing up, take a deep breath in, hold, brace, come down. I like to breathe out on the kind of second third, sort of 2/3, 3/4 of the way up. Breathe out, breathe in, brace. That'll kind of keep everything nice and strong for you. Go down, drive up. And again, you can go for a little kind of posterior tilt at the top, get a little bit extra squeeze at the top end, which is quite nice. If you want to kind of go hands up here, you can do. It's always quite nice as well, so you can kind of focus on locking your traps, kind of back and down, keeping that thoracic spine up nice and straight. Take a deep breath in, squat down, nice and deep into the movement. Drive up, nice little squeeze. And again, I'm not overloading anything in the upper body. A lot of ladies kind of tend to do that kind of kettlebell squat in the gym. You'll see them kind of setting up the steps, hold on to the kettlebell, and that's all fine. Excuse me. But this just allows you to do it with a much heavier weight, which is going to be fantastic for building the glutes up. And there's no reason why you can't still do high repetitions with a heavier weight as well. Again, it's going to be better for building the hips. Once you're finished, slide the bar forward, bend the knees. You can see that kind of unracks the weight. Now in the middle here, what we can also see is a kind of a depth gauge. Now, basically what that does is it acts like a stopper at the bottom end to make sure you don't get trapped at the bottom of the machine and can't move. So when I'm here, you'll see that when I come down, that's just gently touching. So that means that this is the maximum range my body will go to. If I took that out, like so, yeah, that's now going to give me a deeper range to work through. So now I'm going to come super, 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 super deep and then really drive up. Yeah, again, focus on that posterior tilt at the top end. Feels really, really good. So re-rack the weight, soften the knees, unclip the belt, and job done.